Right, giving all praises, honor and glory to Yahawah, Sham, YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI. Honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and other like-minded elders in Israel that teach well. By whom I learned this truth through the spirit and power of YAHAWAHSHI. Shalom wa barakim. To the hopeful elect house of David. Brothers and sisters scattered throughout the four corners doing their due diligence. Citation to Akim that are laboring, ministering week in, week out, making your bodies a living sacrifice unto YAHAWAHSHI in all truth and sincerity. Like this is the brother Daniela, back with a quick hit for the spirit and power of YAHAWAHSHI. Lord willing, this quick lesson is edifying, exalting, and comforting. Right? So this is just a quick hit. It's on the way back from the plantation. You know, I was meditating on a few things, man. You know, a lot of things going on within the world. You know, as we're edging closer to the day of the Lord. You know, the day YAHAWAHSHI's return, and a lot going on within the circumcision, man. Day to day, you know, the Heavenly Father still sifting, still shaking things up, and men still want, you know, still wanting glory, and you know, glory to themselves, you know, vainglory like that, you know, and yeah, man. So it's on my spirit to bring these few verses out. So let me start in the book of Jeremiah, Jeremiah 9 and 23, and it reads, "Thus saith Ha'adawan Yahawah, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, and let not the rich man glory in his riches." And I was meditating on this verse here, man, and it's like, the main reason that is because we know the Heavenly Father, He giveth and He take away, right? And at any time that the Heavenly Father wants to, if He deems fit, right, He can strip that wisdom from you, right? He can strip that, you know, those riches from you, right? He can strip, you know, that might or that strength from you, because He is the giver of all these things, man. But we know it's nothing for the Heavenly Father to make a poor man rich, right? A weak man mighty, and you know, a simpleton wise, man, right? So understanding that all these things are gifts from YAHAWAHSHI, which I've been going into that recently. It was the last lesson, one of the last lessons I did, man. To remember that all these blessings, right? All these gifts are exactly that, gifts from YAHAWAHSHI. So it's that much more that we're to remain, you know, humble, thankful, and, you know, remember why we're walking this walk we're walking, man, which is to glorify Yahawah YAHAWAHSHI, man, right? This is all about the glorification of Yahawah YAHAWAHSHI and the elect of the nation of Israel, man, right? It's not for any of our own individual personal gain or glory, you know. That's why Apostle Paul says something along the lines of, you know, though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, roughly paraphrasing. He says, for necessity is laid upon me, right? Woe unto me if I preach not the gospel, roughly paraphrasing, right? So even he understood that as much as the Heavenly Father, you know, woke him up out of his deep sleep, you know, which, you know, he was in a deep sleep, man. And we know that he was actually putting believers to death at one point, right? But what did the Lord do? The Lord chose to wake him up out of his deep sleep, bestow those tender mercies upon him, and use him as one of the main pillars to push the gospel, man, right? And he understood that because he was gifted a large measure of faith and wisdom, and he understood that well. He understood that he had nothing to glory of, man. Even though we know, we hope, and we believe that what we're laboring towards is greatness, man. You know, is immortality, literally. You know, so while we're on this side now, going through what we're going through, being in this wicked ass flesh, you know, all our righteousness being as filthy rags, right? We ain't got nothing to glory of on this side, man, right? And if we do, you know, we're to glory in YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI, right? And if we're to boast in YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI, man. Not in ourselves. Not in ourselves, because that only leads to one place, you know, which is not the place that any of us want to be. You know, it leads to that place where the Lord start withdrawing the spirit from you, right? And cast you out of his presence, man. And that's not a place that any of us want to find ourselves. This is why it's so important, like we always say, like the scriptures always say, for us to remain humble, right? And that humility is towards YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI. That's what we're to be humble to. The word of the Heavenly Father. I mean, not only do we hear, right, but we do, right? We obey, man. We do, right? So, again, Jeremiah 9:23 says, thus saith Adonai Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, and let not the rich man glory in his riches. But let him, verse 24, but let him glory in this. So if any of us are gonna, you know, boast or glory in everything, right, is this. It says that he understandeth and knoweth me. Right? So that's the main blessing, man. That's the thing that we can boast and glory in. The fact that we've been walking up to this truth and we know YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI, man. And that we, you know, Lord willing, and we could be part of that beautiful number, man. Right? Those that actually belong to the Lord. Right? And was with him from the start, from the get-go. Right? So it says, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am Adonai Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Adonai. So the Lord delights in us knowing our role, man. You know, us playing our position. And right now, that's to humble ourselves, you know, be fishers of men, if that's, you know, that's your office. Prophesy, right? And just keep it simple, keep it humble, you know. The Lord is well pleased in that, you know. Those are sacrifices, you know, those of a contrite heart, sincere, pure heart, man. The Heavenly Father is well pleased with that, man. When he sees us doing his will, when he sees that we're about his business, because that's what us doing what? That's us glorifying him, right? All these gifts he's given us, again, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we're letting it shine, so before men. Right, that what? That YAHAWAHSHI be glorified, man. Not ourselves. So we never want to, you know, find ourselves in that me, I spirit. You know, doing a lesson out on the highways, you know. You're always making it about yourself, you know. What I did, what I done, what I can do, what I'm doing. We don't want to fall into that spirit, man. Right? This walk is about denying ourselves, man. Right? And acknowledging our power. Who is YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI, man? Right? And that's what we're to glory in. You know, all the marvelous works of YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI. You know, all the judgment that's going out. Right? These are the things we're to glory in, man. Right? Like I say, this is just a quick hit through the spirit on the way home. And Salakia for the noise in the background, man. There's some workmen drilling. You know. This is 2 Corinthians 10:17. It says, but he that glorieth, let him glory in her one. Plain and simple, man. Right? You want to be glorying, you know, how much wisdom you've been given, how much riches you've been given, right? How strong, how mighty, right? How much understanding you have. We don't want to glory in any of these things, because again, these things can be stripped away, and we sin it, man. And it just so happens the Heavenly Father tends to strip away those gifts from those that aren't humble in their soul, that are glorying in these things, right? Like we somehow came about these things by our own means, or is of us, you know, because it's not of us, man. And we do well to remember that, and that should keep us humble. That should keep us, like I say, in a spirit of putting YAHAWAHSHI first and foremost in front of everything, right? Like I say, man, you find yourself in that me, I spirit, man, at camp doing lessons, then, you know, you need to examine yourself. And that goes for me, myself. That goes for me, myself too. right? And hey, I can't, me personally, I said it so many times, I can't stand that me, I spirit, man. That selfish spirit, that worldly nigga spirit, man. Because that's the spirit that majority of Jacob, that's the spirit of Esau, Edom first and foremost. And that's the spirit that, that most people have on them in the world, right? Including Jake. Selfish. Everything's about them. What they can do, what they have, what they want, right? And we should be more concerned with what the Heavenly Father wants, which is us to obey Him, right, and do His will, and glory in that. Hey, man, the YAHAWAHSHI, man, is everything for everything, man. The Lord hates a boaster, man. Like I say, spoke about that contrite heart, right? Modesty, right? These are things the Heavenly Father loves to see. Why? Because what does it show? It shows forth your understanding that you ain't shit right now. That you fell short. That you've committed sins unto death. So what is there to boast in? And again, that's why Apostle Paul was in that spirit, because he understood that. So read it again, 2 Corinthians 10 and 17. But he that glorieth, let him glory in YAHAWAH. That's right, man. That's right. But that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's always been about. It's in Psalms 34 and 2. It says, my soul shall make her boast in YAHAWAH. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. Right? So the humble are going to make their boast in YAHAWAHSHI, not themselves, man. Not in their, their teachers or men or women or, elders or whatever have you. They're going to make their boast in YAHAWAHSHI, man. A wise and a humble man. That's what they're going to do. Right? It says, my soul shall make her boast in YAHAWAH, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. That's right. Right? And that's right, man. Because that's when, that's when we're at our most happiest. Right? When we're walking in the spirit. When we're not offending, man. Right? When we're doing that which is well pleasing unto YAHAWAHSHI to the best of our ability. Right? That's when we're at that moment of rejoicing and gladness of heart, man. Peace, ultimately, comfort. Right? That we're not offending, man. And that YAHAWAHSHI is being glorified in it all, man. Right? Like I say, man, us laboring, man, day to day in our own personal, individual walks, right? When we're on the camera out there on the highways and hedges, right? When we're on the camera doing sit-down lessons, right? Everything is to the glory of YAHAWAHSHI, man. Right? Let's not forget that at any time, man. So, just a quick hit through the spirit. Lord willing, it was edifying, exalting, and comforting in some way, shape, or form. And to the next one, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, YAHAWAHSHI, Waharakhakwadash, Brakatha Yahawah, Brakatha YAHAWAHSHI, Shalom Mabarakim to the hopeful elect. Shalom.